Yeah. What do you think about us talking about your consulting, with people and watching them change, the case study like you have with the doctor from India or Sharon?
Because I think the interesting thing too, so they're both, people that I had worked with, and they're in the book. One of them wanted to change, the other didn't. And the outcome is striking, right? So the doctor from India that I worked with, she was having trouble because she was in a Midwestern city, and she wasn't necessarily trusted because there were some cultural differences because of her accent and also because of the fact that she was a woman. And her point to me, they brought me in basically to help me to help her understand empathy and connecting and understanding with some of the other employees she worked with, but also her patients, because again, at the end of the day, healthcare is a business and patients are the product. And if you drive your patients away, it's hard to make a profit, So
Sure.
I came in to help her out with that and just say, this is how you can actually connect with your patients. This is how you can keep it so you're not driving away your assistants and your nurses, this kind of thing. And her point was, how do you know what it is to be me? You want me to connect with these people, but you're not a female, Indian physician. You haven't been in my shoes. You don't know what it's like to be me. And she's right. I don't know precisely in her situation what it is, but I do know what it is to be highly driven. I do know what it is to be the only female in the room of a very male-dominated field. I do know what it is to feel ostracized because of the way I look or the way I sound or the way I come across. So we basically came to the conclusion that, yes, I could help her, even though I was not another female Indian physician. That we did have this in common. And I won't say it was ever a warm relationship because it wasn't, but there was a mutual respect that was gained there. And I was actually able to help her. She eventually ended up leaving the institution and moving on somewhere else. But, we were able to make that happen. Whereas the other one that go ahead. I don't mean to.
Oh, no. I was just going to say that's such an important distinction there of, and that's a section you have in the book that says, what if I can't relate because I haven't been there? And you write that, remember that empathy happens when you're feeling what another is feeling, not when you've experienced what another has experienced. And I thought that was so resonant because, of course, it's easier to have empathy when you have directly experienced the same tragedy, maybe a parent dying or something like that. Wow, I can directly relate to exactly that experience. But at the end of the day, all of these experiences evoke emotions, and you might not be a female physician in India, but you know what it's like, as you're saying, to feel prejudiced against and unfairly treated because of the nature of who you are, and that is something that you can relate to. And I think that opens up using empathy in terms of the emotions that get evoked. We all know what it's like to be sad. We all know what it's like to be angry. We all know what it's like to be annoyed or frustrated or, all of these things. That feels like that opens up a different level of connecting instead of needing to have the same direct experience. And also I feel like that could also be a block to empathy of believing that you need to look exactly the same, live the same exact trajectory of your life in order to allow yourself to connect with somebody else's experience.
Yes. And it's one that I actually hear come up a lot. Well, I don't know what it is to be X. I don't know what it is to be a millennial. I don't know what it is to be female. I don't know what it is to be Indian, whatever, and no, you don't. And actually admitting that is good, because you'll also get the ones that are like, well, let me tell you what it's like to be me. And it's like, no. We're talking about this experience. We're not comparing. We're not stacking up. We're just feeling what's happening and cognitively understanding all of this. So, it's cool to not know and to admit that. That's okay. But on the other hand, as human beings, we have certain experiences that we all share. It's in our biology. So, to be able to understand on that level, well, for most of us, minus our triad, it's in our biology. So to be able to understand someone else on that level and just be, in feeling, because that's what empathy means. M means in, and pathos means feeling. You are in the feeling. That's it. You don't have to layer anything on top of that about understanding or situations or anything like that. It's just a matter of connecting and understanding human to human. It's that simple and that complex all at the same time.
And that feels, the desire to be in feeling requires a level of goodwill, I think, that is such a green flag if you're entering a new place or trying to evaluate your current organization, because that's the opposite of the kind of authoritarian leadership that we've talked about. Totally. And there's also another level to this of there are baseline levels of empathy that vary between people, but also having empathy doesn't mean that you know how to employ it effectively as a leader. So can you speak to that?
Sure. Yeah, I actually think this is a big one, because we have a lot of people out there saying right now, empathy is kind of a hot topic right now, has been since about 2022 with the Great Resignation and with the pandemic. I'd say it maybe even goes back a little earlier than that. But everybody going, just use empathy, just have empathy. Well, great. How do I do that? Well, I don't know. Just go use it. Well, but I have empathy. What do I do with it? I don't know. Just go have empathy. Well, any amount of empathy is better than none at all. Absolutely. I'm not arguing with that. But if you can't use it actionably, if you can't take it and use it as a skill-based tool, then it might give you a warm, fuzzy feeling, but it's not actually being used to its fullest potential. The analogy I use in the book is that it's like a treadmill. If you have a treadmill and it sits in the corner and you hang clothes on it and the cat sleeps on it, maybe you dust it once a month, that's great. You have a treadmill, but you don't get results unless you use it. And then you get results. It's the same thing. You can have empathy, and it's great to have it because, it does humanize us. But if you use it, that's when you're going to see the results.